Call to order this meeting of Monongalia County Commission for October 4th, 2017. Please note for the record that all commissioners are present. If you would, please stand for a moment of silent meditation and then the pledge to the flag. Thank you. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom.
All right. Consents and approval. Good morning, Renetta. How are you today?
Good. How are
What do
you?
you have for us?
We have 26 exonerations for $9,860.52. Vouchers for General County, $587,073.11. Full severance, $9,669.13. 911 cash, $366.47. Chestnut Ridge Park, $1,667.21. Camp Muffley, $60.61. Mason-Dixon Park, $1,331.93. Assessor's valuation, $3,853.60. Teen Court, $11,848.61. Purchasing card vouchers, General County, $24,108.82. Magistrate Court, $67.87. 911, $361.86. Chestnut Ridge Park, $368.42. Camp Muffley, $83.87. Mason-Dixon Park, $293.01. Assessor's valuation, $153.18. For a voucher total of $641,307.70. We have budget revisions. State approval for contingencies, $699 to local health department, $800 for wage increases and equipment purchases in the amount of $193,312. We have a reimbursement, jail reimbursable, 702, travel expenses reimbursement for an extradition. 217 will be deposited into 702 jail reimbursable and $99 into central garage. We have a reimbursement received from Morgantown Utility Board for unused funds during water line installation for Courthouse Square project. That money will be deposited into 424 Courthouse. And then prosecuting attorney received a check from RDVIC, and she's requesting that that be put into her personal services line items for $8,087. I'm sorry. Nope. $2,140. Then we've got position vacancies for boards and authorities, Board of Zoning Appeals, Planning Commission, Mon County Historic Landmarks Commission, Abandoned and Dilapidated Property Enforcement, Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission, Mason-Dixon Historical Park Advisory Board. Fiduciary orders for October the 4th, 2017, and second quarter status report from Fiduciary Commissioner Cynthia Van Stafford.
Move for approval with discussion.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded with discussion.
Tom, you weren't here last week, so I
Right.
wanted to make sure that, and I believe you reviewed this, but I just wanted to kind of go over these increases for the health department budget.
Yes, go ahead. Thank you.
What the first and most importantly, and we've had multiple meetings with the health department, but and through those discussions and through my involvement with the health department from coming on to the commission, their employees, some of them have received raises as long as 7 years. When they came in last week, they had proposed a 3% cost of living increase, and in our discussions, Ed and I felt that we wanted to make sure, because they are county employees, that they were treated the same as we treated our employees. So the discussion was based on, or our approval of the wage increase was based on $1,500 for full-time employees, $1,000 for part-time employees. The other things in here, and the health department for a while has been in need of some infrastructure improvements. The biggest of them is the getting an electronic medical record system. So as you're looking at there with the system and then all the hardware and everything that's needed to actually get them up to speed to get into the 20th century and come online with, I believe it's WU system, will they'll be able to piggyback and enjoy, I don't know what other word I was looking for, but be able to take advantage of a significant subsidy and going on that program. That's what we had. That's what they had decided they'd want to do, and that's what we're looking at here. The other part of it is also a phone system replacement that they hadn't received an increase, or their phones are about 25 years old. Part of that, what you're looking at, is a scanner that we had some discussions in regards to upfitting their mobile dentistry unit, and Ed and I both felt that that was something that could be brought for a later discussion. And also to update you on the medical dentistry unit, that was approved last Tuesday by the Board of Education. So it was timely that next day the health department's here and we talked about it. But they're anticipating they'll be able to do some dry runs in the springtime, and with full support through, I believe it's 7 through 12? Yes. Through 7 through 12 through the school system with the start of the next school year. So we're really excited about that. So having those extra expenses kind of is one of the reasons I think it would be prudent for us to help them out with some of these infrastructure needs, so that they can, one, focus on getting that unit up to speed. One other thing that isn't mentioned on this, but I did have a discussion with the health department, and it's really with this help, they're moving in that direction. They have like 6 vehicles they need to replace that are over 17 years old. That's on them. They're going to utilize our leasing program. We're able to set up a parent-child relationship where they can utilize the system and be invoiced under our structure, and they can take advantage of the pricing that we received. But that is part of, hey, we're taking care of that if you can help us with these infrastructure needs. So I just kind of wanted to give an overall summary of these particular changes.
No, I appreciate it. In fact, that's what I was going to ask, and I appreciate you answered 99% of my questions. I think all three of us are excited that we are able to give them the raises and when we found out how long. And I also, the equipment just, apologize, but it blows my mind that they are not in the, in the digital world. So those are 2 things we have to do. All I would ask, if it be possible, that when we send them the funds, or when they request the funds if we just ask a letter be sent that in the near future, if they could prepare a 3 to 5 year budget, so we can see how they may want to, down the road, their future goals and needs. And I think since you're already on that, but I'd just like to verify, that was the only question I would like to have with this.
Certainly, and I have already moved to that regard, looking at where they've performed in the last couple financial years, and starting to take a look at that and see where we're going and what our immediate future is. By I mean us, county, as the health department. So yes, I've already started down that road. So that
I appreciate the explanation. I appreciate, I couldn't be here, so I'm real glad this really helps resolve a lot of the issues there.
Well, I think the key element of being from, this type of background, what the patient's concern is, these are the individuals that they see. In other words, yes, you do see the doctor, but the support staff are the patients that they bond with. So when you have to retrain, or you have new faces in your support staff because people are leaving, then I think this will be a good incentive for people not only to stay, but to stay with the health department in the long run, because of what we want to do for those employees. So it's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. That passes. Introduction of new employees or any personnel changes. So, do we have anybody? Hearing none, we'll move on to comments from the public. We're now open for comments to the public, from the public. We are very sparse on public today.
You're the public.
However, hearing none, we will close comments from the public. Colleen, do we have any grants? Colleen has no grants. Correspondence. Renetta.
Yes, sir. Received the letter from Alan Judy as a member of the Planning Commission that he is resigning. Do you want me to read it into the record?
Yes, please.
Okay. Dear Commissioners, I am currently on my sailboat and have no access to a printer or post office. So I hope that you will accept this email as my official resignation from the County Planning Commission. I write this with some regret, as I have been a member of the Planning Commission since its inception and have now been campaigning for planning and subdivision regulations in the Cheat Neck area for more than 20 years. But after all this time, I have finally realized that these things are not going to happen in my lifetime. As you are aware, there was a vote on planning and zoning in the Cheat area some years ago. In my opinion, there were 3 reasons why the vote failed to pass: heavy opposition and false propaganda from the local construction industry, a gag order from the then current county commission on the planning commission prohibiting it from countering the adverse, misleading, and downright false information being spread by the local construction industry with promotional material stating exactly what planning and zoning entails. The commission changed the boundaries of the Cheat Lake Planning District, which made it even harder to get an affirmative vote. As you are also aware, the county commission has twice tasked the planning commission with writing subdivision regulations, and the county commission has twice failed to act on the planning commission's recommendations after intense lobbying from the local construction industry and others who either ignore or fail to understand the benefits of these regulations. I do, however, wish to thank you and all past county commission members for the opportunity to serve on the planning commission and to work with the other fine people on the planning commission who have given their time and continue to work very hard to bring planning and subdivision regulations to the county. Sincerely, Alan B. Judy.
Thank you. Having served with Alan for a number of years, I can testify to the fact that, he has heartfelt concern. He has served well, and we do thank him for the service that.
Can we send them a letter of
I
appreciation?
think that would be appropriate.
Yeah.
So-
Okay.
I would like to make a comment on that.
Yes,
if
sure,
that's okay.
please.
This is something that I've heard talk of this when I came on to the planning commission. Come on to the planning commission, come on to the commission. We had a resident speak a couple weeks ago in our public section where he indicated concern over the lack of ordinances at the county level. I know that the planning commission has, I don't know the history between how many times they have provided a,
It started in 1968. I think there's a timeline.
but the land use and subdivision regulation ordinance, I believe that the planning commission passed the last time was when? A couple years ago?
It was a couple years ago, yes.
Okay, so the planning commission does this work, and then we didn't do any, the commission, regardless of who's sitting in these chairs, hasn't done anything with it. Is that correct?
That's it, correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I do think that it's important that we at least hear what our planning commission recommends. And I'd mentioned it when the gentleman spoke in the public meeting that I would like to at least bring that to a working session and possibly bring that to the actual public meeting as part of our regular commission meetings, to one way or the other, either provide guidance back to the planning commission or deny it so that they can move on. I
Well,
don't think it's fair to ask these people to participate in these organizations and then never do anything with their work product.
Yeah, having been there for the creation of this, I do not believe that the planning commission would be revisiting what they have proposed. I think it is our or their position that if it's not acceptable, okay. But there's been a lot of work go into this project, and it's ready for, I feel, public hearing to see how the public receives it as well as our vote. But if you wish to have it at a work session, that's fine with me as well.
And I do want to have a clarification. It did come before us, and it isn't that we didn't do anything. We sent it back with some questions and concerns, which basically, some were dealt with, some weren't, and that's what happened. I think that the concern being that there was a number of questions and concerns, so that's where it was at. Yeah, but, you know, Ed is right, you know, they had done their due diligence.
Yeah, and my point is if they did what we tasked them to do and provide a work product, we should have some resolution of that work product.
Okay.
So if we had questions and it went back, and if they addressed them and then repassed that, then I would think that it should come back.
Well, they haven't well,
Well, why
there's
don't we,
mixture, yeah.
okay, why don't we communicate
Sure.
with he's the past president, Vader Gickenbach.
Okay.
He was charged to meet with Eldon to go over
Right.
whatever
That's right.
questions. And
You're right.
let's,
See where they're at.
I'll take it upon myself to go and
Sure.
inquire of Vader, and we can
Okay.
go from there.
That's fine.
Yeah,
But
let's
if
go
we
ahead.
put on a work
So let's
session,
go
I think
ahead
that's a
and,
good
yes,
idea.
let's go ahead and
Let's go
schedule
put it, yeah.
just simply so it's scheduled for
I think that's a good idea.
one work session,
Okay.
okay?
But I give it like 1 or 2 weeks because you know what I'm saying, because that'll give time for people to show up.
Yeah, and whatever the schedule is, I know
Yes.
October, if, you know, I'd just like to get it at some point in time, just like the individual that raised the issue about the, what was the other?
Water runoff for the most part, if we get,
No, the program where you subsidize the actual property,
Farmland protection.
farmland present, yeah, they had raised it, we had promised to bring that up on a work session to at least discuss it with the individual and bring in I believe Preston County has the same they've passed the program, to at least have that discussion.
Okay.
Because the individuals twice pinged me about where it
let's
was.
go ahead and then put that as well in a couple of weeks. I mean, both these have to do with land usage.
Yeah, might be it's doing it at the same time since, rather than people have to come back twice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, put them both on the same time.
That might be a little
Too much?
confusing.
Okay,
but-
okay, that's fine, let's separate them, that's fine.
And the point is, that's not saying, stating a position one way or the other,
Right.
it's only fair that we have that discussion as requested by the public.
Okay.
Okay. Any other correspondence?
Yes. I received an email yesterday, I think Commissioner Sikora forwarded this to me. It's from Paul Doherty from Philanthropy, West Virginia. On behalf of Philanthropy West Virginia Board and staff, I would like to thank you and Monongalia County Commission for the important role you played in making our 13th annual conference a major success. Thank you to your generous sharing of time as tour guides and your support. Conference attendees were able to participate in an enlightening philanthropy in action tour of Monongalia County and experience the inspiring work underway in our county and region. This year, we had a notable 20% increase in attendance from last year, highest quality presenters, and our record number of conference exhibitors sponsors. This was the best conference to date hosted for our members and a broader philanthropic community. It is our commitment to continue to improve the conference and support our members in learning, leveraging, and leading meaningful action. I trust it was a great experience for you as well. I welcome your feedback.
It was really, Sean and I both participated on giving a tour on the two buses, and I actually was able to go back and make their dinner and their presentation. I think the ring that really rang a bell was that you might associate this with individuals that are of age, and yet there was one participant up there who was just entering college, and he's already been doing philanthropic efforts through middle school. So these little, when you see the youth getting involved with the projects, that's really something. I was very impressed by the presentation and the panel discussion that took place.
And I second Ed's comments. It was a very, I enjoyed it, and it was a rewarding experience. And Tom, not to single you out, you had agreed, but you weren't here and you were
Yeah, I
sick.
know.
So, but I do appreciate both you agreeing to
Sorry.
participate in this, because I wasn't sure what it was all about. But again, I was pleasantly surprised that it was a fun and rewarding experience.
Okay. Any others?
One more.
Okay.
Received an email from Jackie Riggleman at the West Virginia Black Bears. They are requesting funds for two events that they're having at the ballpark. Crafting with Cooper, November the 5th. They're requesting $800, and Holidays at the ballpark on December the 3rd, $1,200.
we put that on the agenda for next?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
We can do that. Just see that that's put on for discussion,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
Okay. Any others?
No, that's all.
Hearing none, move on to unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business before us? Hearing none, to new business. Consideration of network support and consulting agreement with Global Science and Technology for the period September 1st, 2017 to June 30th, 2018.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, to consider requesting cost proposals from vendors who submitted requests for qualifications to the County Commission for web design services.
Move for approval with discussion.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded.
Again, just to update you guys on what I've put out there in the folder. As you're aware, we did a request for qualifications back in June. All the vendors came in and were evaluated and by our IT staff and found to be acceptable. It was a low threshold, for baseline technical approval. So now the next step through our discussions and working sessions, we decided that we would go ahead and ask them all to propose.
Okay.
That's what this is. It's kind of it still requires a little bit more technical input that will be evaluated, and it requires cost input. And I've also added an opportunity for oral presentations. So once they submit their proposals, they'll be able to come in and take advantage of, or actually be able via webinar, be able to take advantage of or will be able to take advantage of being able to ask questions and clarify and actually see an end product. A lot of times it's better to actually see things and, and help us inform our decision.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any other new business? Reports from elected officials.
I would just like to remind the county commission that today is the last day of early voting, and we did receive some statewide numbers from the Secretary of State's office, and Monongalia County has the second highest turnout in the state, second to Kanawha County, of course. But just to compare the numbers that they sent me as of their reporting, we had 2,196 voters that have turned out so far. Berkeley County, 1,127, Jefferson County, 400, and, let's see, 499. And there was one county that I noticed on here, Monroe, has only had 16 people that has come out during early voting.
Yep.
I guess that's
Yeah,
good.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you've
yeah.
ever been to Monroe County,
Yeah,
it
I
is
guess
rather
that's good in
sparsely
a way,
occupied.
but-
Right, we are ready to go. Voting election day is Saturday, so we will move our equipment on Friday. We will have the election on Saturday. We are using our election center as a polling location, so we will not be able to gather. We will be doing our election night results from there, but that has to remain as an intact precinct until 7:30.
Okay, so you want to say it's
So we'll come and we'll just hold you in the warehouse portion until the
We won't show up until 7.
Well, we
until the
just won't show
business
up
of the
at 7:30. That
day,
makes
right,
sense.
until the business of the day is over. So, you can come about 7:15 and then we'll be ready to go right when, right at 7:30.
Two questions, sorry to cut you off. Someone asked me, can they still request an absentee ballot? Or is it, and I didn't know how to answer that.
Absentee ballot deadline, I believe, was yesterday.
Okay.
But they can still contact our office, and if
They're
they're
physically handicapped, yeah.
right, if there is what I would suggest to them, because they can, we can go through the reasons and see if they can qualify
Okay.
for one. So I would have them continue to call.
Okay.
I would point out canvassing will be Friday, October 13th. And hopefully we'll be able to finish in one day.
And the other thing I thought you want to know is the radio has been very positive, in and out in 2 minutes. I mean, that's what they were talking about, where people said it used to be long. So I want to congratulate. They were very, very positive about the
Yeah, well,
procedure.
we are using our electronic equipment, and
Right.
there is only one item on there, so it is very, very smooth to go in and vote.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other reports from elected officials? Reports from county commissioners. Tom?
Yeah, again, I apologize, I was not here last week, but due to the situation, but I appreciate you. I watched the video. I'll tell you, it's nice to sit and watch, so I can see what's going on, and I do appreciate that. I was last night, I went to the Star City. I chose between the Star City or the city of Morgantown to represent us, just to go and say hello, and I had made no public speech, but afterwards, when they broke to go into executive session, I did individually invite all of them to come to the community leadership program. And I did say that I was a little concerned that they are not coming and they are falling behind the other cities to know what's going on. And I believe now there is a real interest, and we're going to send letters again. I said we've been sending them, but they are aware of it. And the other thing, since you had talked about, it was interesting, the issue that they went into executive session on was about the water runoff. So it isn't just county problems, but it's in the cities too, and that seems to be a problem everywhere. Second, the empty bowls kickoff is tomorrow. I'm going to go to that. It's from 6 to 8 o'clock, starts at Mon General Hospital. And I look at you, I sent that to you, and I appreciate that, Ben. And the final thing is, it's been an eventful week, I think, for all three of us, with the president coming, then not coming. I've learned a lot about the media when you write something, and it would have been very exciting, and it also, there were also situations where we also learned how much would have been shut down, the city and the county. But I do hope that, you know, we get the opportunity again for him to come for maybe a different site and maybe an early evening rather than afternoon. But it was great that Mon County and City of Morgantown for 36 hours was nationally and internationally represented, and you can't beat that press. So with that, you know, I think it was just a really good showing for the 36 hours. Go.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks and will continue to be. Last week, as Ed had mentioned, we went to that Philanthropy West Virginia tour, and then we had the Brookhaven Elementary rededication that night. Thursday, we had the Health Department bi-monthly meeting. And then this past Monday, we had a strategy meeting I had a strategy meeting with the city manager and our legal counsel for the Development Authority. We're making a trip to Beckley tomorrow to talk to the FAA. We want to try to see where our runway extension justification is and what's holding it up, and seeing what we can do to hopefully push it forward. So I look forward to that drive down to Beckley, spend some time with the city manager, and hopefully it'll be a productive meeting down there. As Carrie mentioned, the election statistics, it's a shame that we're second in the state with, as of right now, and for people watching on the video, I wasn't on my phone, social media, I was looking up the clerk's website that has all the statistics, and as of the end of the day, yesterday it was 2511. That only represents 3.8% turnout, and that's second in the state, which is disappointing. I mean, one thing that stands out in particular is the young vote, 18 to 24. I can report that it has doubled, but it's only at 32. So that's, when you only have 32 of that age group voting, you know, I don't know how much more we could do to educate people regarding the road bond. I mean, there's been countless forums and opportunity for people to discuss and become educated. So it's disappointing. As you mentioned, it was kind of a strange week with the president coming and all the anticipated, distractions that would come with that. It's sad that such a tragic event that happened in Las Vegas it took that to refocus people. And, you know, I hope that the next time we have a visit of this magnitude. And Tom, you had a great suggestion last week when he was still coming that, our president meet with the city manager and have a kind of a cohesive plan on how we put our best foot forward. And, it's disappointing when you see, and you were talking about social media, this is the DA from the day that he was supposed to visit. And when you have people just taking people's Twitter comments and putting that and publishing it as news. I mean, right here on the second page, you have someone, Miranda, who's going to throw a flaming bag of excrement at him with me. I mean, and that passes as news, and that's the way we react to the President of the United States coming to Morgantown. So I hope that, given more time for whenever he does come, that we can refocus and be more accommodating. And, we can all disagree, but there's no need for discourse like this. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I echo those sentiments exactly. I think that we were all a little bit surprised by the announcement on the short timing, and I think that if the event were to happen again, given a 3 to 6 month planning period, would be excellent, as well as perhaps maybe not a location in the middle of downtown. But I don't, I wasn't privy to that discussion. I think there was some indication that this was a commission-sponsored event. It was not. So in the future, when people are asking for tickets for something that we actually weren't invited to, it might give some consideration. Thank you. I may be going to the Farm Bureau banquet tomorrow. Colleen is shaking her head yes, so my reservation has been accepted, so I'll represent us at the Farm Bureau tomorrow evening. We do open the Board of Equalization and Review today.
Board of Assessment Appeals.
The Board of Assessment Appeal, I'm sorry. Okay, today, okay? Again, please take time. This is the last day to vote for early voting. If you can, please take time and vote today. If not, please go out on Saturday and vote. Let's at least make Monongalia County proud and the work that our county clerk has done in this special election, because there's a lot of accommodation people don't actually realize and work that goes into an election. When you have to have a special election, then even more so. So our thanks to Carrie. Thank you very much. And may I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. We are adjourned. Thank you.